Hey guys, my name is Anna Speed, and this summer I was at Duke University's Catholic Center as their peer ministry intern. If y'all want to go over to ELC and look at the handout that I've uploaded, it'll have a lot of the information that I'm going to be talking about here in this presentation, so you can look at it kind of at your own speed there if you would like to do that. Here are some of Duke University's facts that I just thought would be useful to include so you get a good sense of the environment that I've been in. Duke is a private nonprofit research university in Durham, North Carolina. A lot of the students here that I've built relationships with have been engineering majors, math majors, technology, science, medical, a lot of STEM majors. So that's kind of the environment that I've been in. An estimated 1 out of 5 students here are Catholic, and the Catholic Center guesses that one out of 5 of those students are actually practicing. Their slogan here at Duke is Knowledge and Faith. It was founded as a Methodist university called Trinity College in 1838, but actually became Duke in 1929. I've also included some stats on tuition, acceptance rate, and the current total enrollment for y'all to check that out. So the Catholic Center here is a religious student organization within Duke. So they have other religious organizations as well, kind of like we do at the University of Georgia. I've included here the mission and the vision, and also their 3 pillars that the staff really sticks to, really prays about, and focuses on for the structure of their ministry. The mission is really just to create a home away from home for students here that are Catholic, to welcome them in, to build community, ground them in the Eucharist and the sacraments, and help them just become leaders in the community. As Catholics, the vision is they really focus on Luke 5:4, which is to put out into deep water and lower your nets for a catch. And you can read more about that again on the handout. And the 3 pillars there are belong, believe, become. I've included here a little bit of a description there underneath each one, so feel free to pause and look over those. The Catholic Center staff includes, well, there's 11 staff. There's 2 Franciscan priests as well as 2 new Franciscan sisters, so that's really cool. Here is a flow chart of the structure of the staff that I actually had to create as one of my projects here. You can see there's the campus ministry works under the Bishop of Raleigh or the Archdiocese of Raleigh, as well as an advisory board, and the religious life here at Duke at the university. If you look here, it's kind of blurry, but it says Peer Ministry Coordinator. That is who I was interning underneath for the summer. So some of my responsibilities, or some of the tasks that I was given for the summer, was to set up for masses on Sundays. I had some administrative work like data entry, material writing, designing. I also did some social event planning, so I planned a mocktail social and like a trivia night, just for an example. I also cooked for Tuesday night dinner, which is a form of fellowship that they have here weekly on Tuesday nights. We would have anywhere from 20 to 40 people, so I really learned to cook for big groups of people, which was really cool. I set up for what's called Holy Hour, which to non-denominational Christian groups, it's kind of like praise and worship. And I was also a small group leader to students of about 6 to 10 at a time. It would fluctuate. And then I was really focusing a lot on intentionality and discipleship for this summer. I also have more of my formal responsibilities outlined in the handout if you take a look there. So I titled my project, Who God Is, an Ecological Systems Perspective. So by the title, you can probably guess that I use a lot of Bronfenbrenner's ecological systems theory, and I'll get to that in a second. This project allows participants to reflect on how people and experiences in their lives have influenced how they view God as a person. By reflecting on Scripture and provided Bible verses, participants will then consider who God actually is, despite of who the world or society tells us He is. My content areas for this project are both internal dynamics of families as well as interpersonal relationships, and the competency, is assessment and evaluation skills. I kind of came up with two goals for this project or my activity, and it is to better understand the self and the person of God in the context of our experiences with the various levels of Bronfenbrenner's ecological systems theory, as well as to help students understand that despite our differences, grades, or relationships, God is constant in all and through all. So what I have done here, this probably looks familiar. Yes, it is Bronfenbrenner's model, but a little bit modified. So you guys probably know that for Bronfenbrenner's model, he has the person as the center of the concentric circles. However, for the purpose of my activity and for my project, I modified it and put God in the center, similar to how we believe that God should be the center of our lives, and is a very important aspect to our lives and to the person. I also added some arrows on the sides here that emphasize how He's also present not only within ourselves, but in the other systems in our lives. All right, so we're going to go ahead and try the activity. Like I said, feel free to pause at any time, rewind, go through ELC, whatever you need to do. So, in my uploaded files or attachments, find the file titled Activity Worksheet. It looks like a document with 4 labeled columns, and if you scroll down to the bottom of that document, there are instructions that are typed up to complete it if you would like to go kind of at your own pace. Tip, do not fill out the last column. I'll get to that in a second, but I'll go ahead and say it now. The last column is going to be a little bit different, so just pause when you get to that one. And another tip is just to be honest and vulnerable. No one will be collecting this from you. You don't have to upload it. I'm not going to see it. Dr. Kozak's not going to see it. So feel free to do with it what you would like. So here's what the document looks like. In the last one right here, don't fill it out quite yet. I've actually included an example up here at the top. So if you're having trouble with and need a little bit of inspiration, there's that. But I've also included some prompting questions up here that should help as well. I also provided a reference brochure for the purpose of this activity. I really decided to come up with it for students who need some sort of help navigating or even coming up with scripture that would be relevant to their life experiences. So I went through and I kind of found some that might help you. In ELC, it looks like this, and it's titled Reference Brochure. Or if you are familiar with a Bible and Scripture, feel free to use your own and be creative. So go ahead and pause and fill those out. After you have done the first 3 columns, you can use this reference or you can use the scripture to fill out the last column and really reflect and pray about, if you are one who prays, on who God actually is and who He tells us He is in Scripture. For the activity that I did here with the Duke students, we actually went to Holy Hour for them to reflect on who God is to them. Like I said, Holy Hour is a time of prayer and a time of praise and worship. So they were able to really focus on what Scripture and what their hearts were telling them to add. All right, and then the last thing, after we came back together with a group of students, I gave them a little survey about what the activity meant to them, what they got out of it. Here are some of the questions that I gave them. I gave them little half sheets of paper, and they filled it out anonymously. So something that I included on ELC was the results of the survey. I typed up some of their answers, so if you would like to go through that and see how the students here reflected on this activity, you can go see that. It's pretty cool to see. And if you would like to, if you've done this activity and you want to answer some of these questions as well, go ahead and add it to the comments at the bottom of the thread on ELC. That'd be really cool. So that is the last thing. Thank you guys for doing this activity, for listening to me, and for being very present here in the last 10.5 minutes. Hope you guys have a really great day and a good rest of your summer.